And just like that, we're live. Hello, friends. Hey, Tim. OK Mountain 8698. What is the source of your name? Where did OK Mountain come from? Because that's kind of fun. I'm curious what your inspiration was. I'm just gonna sort out OBS and things. You know, a wiser man would handle all of this setup before going live, but I am not that man. I'm just Nathan. Hey Tim, how you doing? I've fixed the Discord server to actually say to run the weekly stream event for Mondays now, so that's an improvement. Michael Salem, hello, hello. How are you doing? We're just requiring liquids. It's I had the worst sleep last night. I had the worst sleep. I'm just gonna move this over here so I can watch chat a little bit while looking a little closer to the camera. Um, oh my God, yeah. So I'm just Tim. I have these nights sometimes when I wake up. I go to bed usually around 10 to 11, and I guess I have a lot of European viewers, so I what would that be? 22? 22 hours? 22 to 23 hours? Yeah. And then I usually end up waking up around when I'm having one of these nights. I'll wake up at like 3 a.m., 3:30, and I just can't, like, I get this sense, I can tell that I'm not going to be able to go back to sleep. And that's always somewhat miserable. So I had one of those nights tonight, and I've just been out of it all day. It was not what I would call a productive day at work. Early bird. Yes. Yeah, I used to be a night owl. My best coding hours used to be from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That was my time. But I decided I would become a morning person when I was like 23. I was 23 years old, and I was like, you know what? It's time. All these morning people seem way happier than me. Let's see what happens. And so I trained myself to be a morning person. Yeah, it's definitely better. It's definitely better for me. I don't know. Um, I'm naturally a night owl, I think, but it's gotten to the point where I've been doing this for so long, like, so it's been 4 years now, that I just naturally wake up around 7 to 8 a.m. now. Um, and I like it because my girlfriend wakes up quite a bit later than I do, like an hour or two. And so I get this time to like have my little coffee and do my journaling, and the apartment's quiet and all that's kind of nice. What do we got? Michael says, I just confirmed Paper Window Manager, scrolling window manager GNOME extension similar to Neri. Configured, sorry, because a GNOME update broke Forge. Interesting. GNOME updates keep breaking extensions. I find it really frustrating. Um, One of the struggles of being on GNOME just feels like their extensions ecosystem is really fragile. But cool that there's a Neri replacement. I know Neri's been getting a lot of attention. Something about it, like I look at it and I'm like, but we have tiling. Why do I need this? But I think I'm just like locked into tiling. It was magical for me when I first discovered tiling window managers, and so it's like tough for me to fathom wanting anything else. But it's cool that new user experiences are like popping up. So tell me what that's like. What's Paper Window Manager been like? Tim says, it's already 10 p.m. for me. What do you mean? Just 1 year older than me. I feel the same way with the night owl, but I talk with people that is over the pond, so it's whatever. Ah, fair. Yeah. Yeah, I guess having a lot of friends and stuff in other time zones would make setting a schedule more complex, I think would be the right word. Yeah. Yeah. We have some fun updates. Nick and I have been cracking on the cohorts, and I'd like to show off a little bit of stuff. It's a fairly small gang we've got here today, so that'll be pretty chill. Pop this over over here. I've also been blocking Discord a little bit more because I spend Discord is like my biggest attention vice right now because you guys are all so interesting. And then I'm like, I just like I sit down to do some work, and instead I'm on Discord chatting with you all. It's nice. It has some kind of a hack, which kind of gives me the separate workspaces per monitor feature Cosmic has. Ah, how is Cosmic doing? I haven't taken a look in a while. Is it staging dot? Yes. Boom. Oh, maybe it's not up anymore. Oh, it is. Okay, great. Living dangerously, indeed. um, so I've been working on this. Nick and I have been working on this. This is the landing page. Hey, Plus, how are you doing? This is the landing page for the new thing. We've got a new base URL that we're going to be using for a bunch of our stuff. We're calling it Intentional Tech because I can't. Digital Minimalist Lab is too close to Cal Newport's thing, and I do not want to get sued. Uh, and we've been playing with some new concepts. I also think digital minimalism isn't like a perfect analogy for the totality of what we're up to here, because digital minimalism does not capture the sort of digital privacy and self-hosting aspects. And I think I talked about this last week where I was sort of bringing up topics of the term I've been liking recently is digital agency. Hold on, let's go face cam again while I talk about this. So I've been interested in the concept of digital agency as a way to umbrella concept the two things that we do here, which is the attention economy stuff and the self-hosting and Linuxy stuff. I was able to catch Nick in the Discord voice, so I got a sneak peek on it. Awesome. Nick is one of my favorite people. Amazing dude. So yeah, digital agency I view as like make ownership of your digital footprint and having and creating services, digital services that serve you instead of you're sort of serving them. I need to clarify the phrasing on this, but I view this as like, well, what I mean by this is when we look at the attention economy, I view this as technology making use of us to capture data, as opposed to us making use of technology to learn things or communicate with people, right? So there's this like inversion that happens. Digital agency is reclaiming, reusing, or no, is getting the utility out of the technology instead of the technology getting utility out of you. And in the same way, I think self-hosting sort of gives us that sense of digital agency back, right? Where instead of our data is getting harvested, just like our attention gets harvested, we are in control of our services. We are hosting the services that are meaningful and useful to us, instead of them being used to take advantage of us. That's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. Got my Ugreen DXP 4800 Plus today. Already swapped the fan for a Noctua and installed Proxmox instead of their phone Phone Home OS. Speaking of digital agency and digital privacy, Phone Home OS. Yes. Excellent. I'm really excited to hear about that. How's that? So you went Proxmox on the 4800. That thing had what, an N150 in it? Is that right? Are you planning on running a lot of VMs? Or are you going a container route? What are you planning on throwing on that thing? Also, in the meantime, I'm going to go back to this digital. I'm calling it the attention recentered cohorts for now. I don't know if that's what I like yet, but it's closer to the digital declutter, because what I want to center in this idea is that it's like we're not talking about just less screen time. We're recentering our time and attention on the things that we love, and it's important and useful to mm, and so we're reducing screen time, and that's a utility, right? Reduced screen time is to open back up space so that we can recenter our attention on the things that we love. That's the way I'm thinking about this. Couldn't help but notice the semitone formula on your forearm. Are we talking? Oh, the 12th root of two? Yeah, thank you. That one's for my grandpa. He wrote a program way back in like 1960 something, that calculated the 12th root of 2. And supposedly, that program was important for the development of the Moog synthesizer, which is pretty cool. Cool. Yeah, nice catch, Pietro. OK Mountain was just an auto-generated username that YouTube gave me. Okay, well done, YouTube. Proxmox native, already in cluster with my N300 box. Proxmox backup server will run on it, and TrueNAS with the HBA controller pass-through. Interesting. Interesting. Already in cluster with that. So this is entirely for Proxmox backup. That's pretty cool. Right. Okay. Battery-powered self-hosting devices? Huh? Battery-powered self-hosting devices. That sounds like a great way to have a bad Sunday morning. Hey, SQQ. Hey, everyone. Hope you're all having a nice evening. I am now. It's nice to hang out. Anyways, okay, so this is what we've been up to. This is the landing page. We've got this domain name intentionaltech.ca, and I think we're going to start rooting a bunch of stuff in this. This is where the cohorts are going to be, so it'll probably be like intentionaltech.ca/cohorts. That'll be the thing. Cohorts. Oops. We'll probably base the wiki here as well. Could be fun. And then, yeah, just did some design. If you feel pulled in, you're not imagining it. Apps are addictive by design. And so I sort of try to do like a problem, the problem and the promise kind of structure here. I've outlined the actual design of the new 30-day cohorts, which is cool. I've been giving this a lot of thought, and it is really coming together. I think the only problem with this first cohort might be that I'm doing too much stuff. So we'll see, although it's a pick and choosy kind of structure. Like you can choose what things work for you and what don't. So hopefully that'll work. But yeah, it's this staying grounded section during will probably help out with scaffolding. I know that like a lot of people, their comment about the first 30-day cohort was just like, Nathan, you fell off and didn't tell us anything after the first week, and then we just had to wing it. And I was like, yep, true. So you won't be winging it this time. And then, yeah, we're gathering a bunch of data. This will all be like anonymized and stuff like that. And we're not going to be making use of your data other than to do some statistical analysis to show that there is a true significant difference between people who, like, when they started the cohort and ended the cohort. That's all the data will be used for. And then some stuff. This needs some fixing, but it's coming together. And if Ender's in chat, I'm using your comment. So I'm pretty proud of this little thing. The design of the cohorts is really coming along. I think we're actually going to make it for January. So very, very excited about that. A Dylan says, sorry, what is this? This is the landing page for a program that I've been developing with my friend Nick. Basically, when I made my first attention economy video, right, like it kind of blew up, and I realized like I could use this as an opportunity to actually design and deploy some of the interventions that I was studying during my PhD. Every time I say that I was doing a PhD, I also append that with I dropped out, right? So I don't have a PhD, I don't have a doctorate. But I was doing this research and I didn't get to put it anywhere, right? And it was all about like the science of how to help people change their behavior, particularly around smartphones and other things like that, so that they could reclaim some of their time. And I wanted to put this in because I saw all of this interest around the attention economy stuff. I wanted to put this together so that I could help people do what I did, which was cut my screen time down from 6 hours to 12 minutes. Phone screen time in particular. I'm a programmer. Obviously, my screen time is not 0 on my other devices, but I've still made some meaningful difference. And so I ran this like really scrappy little prototype the first time around, and I've been working on rebuilding it with a lot more structure. And so this is going to be a little web app that just guides you through the whole set of interventions so that you can work on recentering your attention away from your devices and onto things that you care about. That's the goal. So yeah. Okay, hold on. So that's that's what I've been up to. And then here's another thing. So I was all set to make my video on ZimaOS. This looks really cool. Oh, thank you. Well, this is actually live. If you're not already on the stuff, if you're not already on my newsletter, this little get cohort updates from our newsletter button, I'll show you here. This guy will get you signed up so you'll know if it's running if you want to participate. Absolutely no pressure whatsoever though. Yes, as I was saying, I was all set to put out a video. I've been working on improving my editing workflows and stuff because I feel like I can make higher quality videos, and I would really like to, but you know, it takes time to sharpen the axe. And I made some mistakes with my DaVinci Resolve setup, which led to me not putting out a video last week. But I'm starting to think maybe I'm going to take a slightly slower cadence and aim to release videos twice a month instead of every week. I think that'll give me more time to think through things, make a really clear argument, understand what I'm trying to say, and edit better. Also, hopefully buy me a little bit more time to work on cohorts and other cool things that I want to build, like the wiki and stuff. The button brings me to a 404 page on Substack. Wow. So anyways, we're beta testing. I'll fix that. Sorry, guys. In the meantime, I'll send you my Substack. That is hilarious. Would you believe me if I told you it worked on my machine? How do I never know how to work Substack. Like why is this app so confusing? Profile, posts. Can I go here and then here? Okay, boom. Is there a new link for the Discord? I think they regenerate every now and then. Let me grab you one. So yeah, anyways, I worked on that. I'll show you a little bit about that. And let me grab the invite. And then we're gonna play around with what's it called? UmbrelOS, because I think I'm gonna go that direction instead of Zima for the video. And I want to see what it's like. Okay, so where is the invite button? Discord always confuses me. I feel like this shouldn't be so complex. Like, I feel like I shouldn't be so confused by Discord, but I am constantly. Okay, so there we are. Yeah, I'm gonna show off DaVinci Resolve a little bit because I'll just show some of the things I built. And we'll talk about that because I am kind of proud of the structure I've put in place, and I think it will help me. So, for example, I've been winging it on video editing. Hey, Wilhelm, how you doing? I've been editing it, winging it on video editing basically the entire time, right? And so now I've got a structure for like general reusable things. So I've got this little like end card now, which is kind of fun. I'm just like, woo, right? That's fun. Couple of other reusable things, but I also just have a structure for videos. So within the editor, I now have some like nudges to think about the structure of my video in advance, and I think that's really helpful. I also have a couple of nice things like some zooms for comedic effect, which is fun, or to emphasize a point. Couple of other things. What do I have? A little. I've got one whoosh sound effect, and then I've also got for if I'm like introducing concepts. I have these little. There they are. I have these, so I can like bring up a concept and full screen it and change the visual context, which is nice. But also, you know, bring you some concepts. Boom. And then I have little things like, hey, consider supporting me on Patreon, which is kind of fun. Or the little like, comment, subscribe fella. that kind of thing. So I can just sort of plop these in. And then I also was playing around with improving my first 30 seconds. Nathan had to do a manual notification for the stream on Discord. I think the bot is dead. Ah, all right. Well, we'll fix that. Every day something breaks. So yeah, the first time I set all of this up though, it took me a couple of hours because I was like I was thinking about what to do, right? Like, how am I going to scaffold this? I had to design the effects from scratch and like, all of that. And then I chose the wrong frame rate for timelines, and DaVinci Resolve does not let you change that, and that was quite frustrating. But it's all in order now, and we're good. The links at the bottom of the page might reveal some unwanted information. Oh, is that so? Protocol. Oh, I see, I see. Okay, good to know. Yeah, we'll have to probably turn off a bunch of the like Django stuff. Thank you. Thanks for the heads up. So yeah, that's the deal. And I've got this little intro I'm actually quite proud of. Can you all hear it? No, you can't. Why is that not coming through? Isn't that weird? Whatever. The editing I thought was pretty decent. So I'm happy about that. It's odd because I haven't changed anything in a while. We can't fix the bot. It's out of our control. Oh. Hey Jake, how's it going? Is the bot not controlled by us? Uh-oh. All right. Well, I guess we'll just have to make a new bot and kick that bot, and then we'll be fine. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so we're not... This is not considered deployed. But yes, we will definitely do some fixing soon. As a person who has no editing experience but wants to start a YouTube channel, how do you suggest I start? My first videos were not edited at all. I just like recorded and went for it. So I think I would recommend just starting, because what happens when you just start throwing stuff out there is you won't be happy with your video, but you'll see it and you'll go, I could fix this one thing. And like over the course of a year, you fixed many one things and the video quality is much better. That's kind of, that's what I would say. I also knew nothing about editing prior to this. I've done some audio editing, but not video editing. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. Man, video editing software, much like DAWs, are some incomprehensible swatch shit. Agreed. Yes, DAWs and video editing software is just so complicated. Caught the flu, so I've been better. Dude, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. The bot is fine. I pay for the service, and like I said, I know the guy behind it. Ah, I see. Okay, very good. So, anyways, what are we doing today? What's the gang up to? We are taking a look at UmbrelOS. So yeah, we did Zima last week, and now we're trying another one. So Umbrell OS is another one of these like open source NAS operating systems that make self-hosting really easy without the command line, right? You can just, it's all GUI, handles things nicely. So that's kind of what I want to explore, because I've been building up this concept of like self-hosting is different from home labbing. This is one of the primary topics of the video. So I've been starting to think of like home labbing as a hobby is like complex by design, right? Home labbing is what we sort of like Linux sysadmin interested people do to explore technology for the fun of it, and also to some extent the utility of it. So that's one branch. And then self-hosting I view as like the act of hosting useful services that replace cloud functionality. And I view this as like self-hosting should be simple and accessible to a much wider range of people, whereas home labbing doesn't need to. Home labbing is like, that's for fun and for learning, and it's supposed to be complex because that's what makes it fun and learny, you know? So I've been interested in these like NAS operating systems, or these, like, I'll call them maybe self-hosting operating systems, as a way to make this accessible. And I've been conceptualizing sort of like the self-hosted cloud box as an appliance, as opposed to a this like complicated, confusing thing that only home labbers know how to handle, right? So I like the idea of like self-hosted cloud box in your apartment right beside the router, and you treat it conceptually the same way you treat a washing machine, right? If it like breaks or is weird, you call a technician and it gets fixed. And this is kind of the way we think about it. Or you watch a lot of YouTube videos and learn how to fix it yourself. Um, that's kind of what I've been thinking about lately. So yeah. Um, Ravtij says, got it? And is DaVinci the best beginner editing software, or you use something else when you started? I started with DaVinci, but I'm also a masochist. Like, I usually pick the most complex thing possible whenever I start something. I pick the hardest thing, I pick the most complex thing. That's usually what I do. If you're on Linux, you can always use Kdenlive. It's free, it's Linux native. That's all well and good. If you're on Apple and you have money, there's always Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro, I hear, is a lot quicker and easier to pick up. And if you're in the Apple ecosystem, it's very like comfortable. I tried it, I hated it, but I think that's because I've already built up some muscle memory around DaVinci. Kadrissa says, hello, I got to the stream late, so I've rewound and sped it up. I'll catch up. That's super fun. Nice. Baniel says, hey, good evening, gents. Hello, hello. Hop says, as someone looking to enter the IT industry as a network engineer, do you know what equipment would be best for tinkering while learning? Love the vids, by the way. So I am not a network engineer. So that's a little tough. I would imagine you would want control over your router. So, and depending on where you go, ooh, take all of this with a grain of salt. This is far from my area of expertise. But you're not going to want to be using your commercial router, I'd assume. Something like OpenSense or pfSense would be useful. You might want to start looking into managed switches and things, or yeah, managed switches, so that you can play with that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Cisco gear. I'm not really sure. Does anyone else in the chat have experience with network engineering and maybe can land a friend some advice? Greetings from Seattle. Hello, Andrea. How you doing? He runs his private Docker containers on Kubernetes. Equals certified masochist. Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's maybe start doing some UmbrelOS stuff instead of me yapping for the entirety of the stream. I'm trying to cut my yap sessions down to the first 30 minutes. And yeah, so that we actually build things, because I'm not used to, I'm still getting used to how many people show up for these streams. It's a lot more than was when I first started streaming. So yeah, I've spent the last number of streams not doing anything. Like, just, well, okay, that's not fair. Talking to all of you is a pleasure, and I'm really glad I get to do that. That's not nothing. But it is also not building stuff. So I want to build things again, and then we're going to do that. Ubiquity Network Gear is a fairly easy start. Ooh. Hey, Sarah, how's it going? We are taking a look at little self-hosted OSs. That's what I call them. Things like Umbrel and Zima. Easy ways to manage NASs and things and get self-hosted services up and running quickly and easily without a GUI. So yeah, we also talked books last time. That was fun. But yeah, I want to start building up my home lab. I'm starting to feel the itch again. I was a little burnt out, and I'm kind of looking forward to building some stuff again. Okay. Where did I put this? There it is. Why am I? Okay. Let's maybe plug in this USB stick and start. It goes. Ubiquity is very lock-in and quite expensive. Yeah, I mean, that is I know. I have this feeling, right? because I'm gonna make this video on Umbrell OS and talk about NAS operating systems and self-hosting as an appliance to make it easy. And I'm gonna get a bunch of people who are gonna go, "Why don't you just go Ubiquity or Synology?" And I'm gonna go, Bec- "Well, I guess I could, but two reasons. One, I can't afford their stuff and they're not sponsoring my videos. If I get sponsored, I would happily make a video and talk about the pros and cons of vendor lock-in and closed source stuff, but also talk about the pros of like very polished, well-structured, NAS that's just like an appliance. I would make that video, but I can't right now. So this is the video I'm making, and I'm just like, you ever sit there and know that you're about to write something that other people are going to be like, but here's the criticism, and you're like, I could address the criticism, but it would just water down my point until like it's just. So anyways, I've articulated this point terribly. At the moment, managed 2.5 gigabit Ethernet switch is the cheapest is Ubiquity. Really interesting. Second cheapest is Netgear, or Tenda. Runs too hot. I have a Synology, and I think I'd rather something open source and self built. Yeah, and so that's what we're exploring, right? Like, I think in general, I need to not concern myself with too much with YouTube comments from people who don't share the values that we're like engaging with very much in this channel. So if somebody like immediately responds with, why not this closed source thing, it's like, well, because it's closed source. And I'm not like strictly against closed source, and I'm definitely not against paid software. I love open source software that you can pay to pay for. I think that's cool. Free as in freedom stuff. But anyways, that's all. I'm on a rant. Cool. So this USB stick is SDA. We're gonna do a little DD. Is it -IF? I think it's whoops, TLDR Yes. Oh, I don't need dash. Sudo dd if equals /dev/SDA, I think would be correct. Yeah. And then oh, whoop, nope. Input file is the Umbrel thing. Cool. And then output file dev SDA status equals progress. Okay, cool. That should work. Did I do anything ridiculous here? No, and it is SDA. We checked. We did a proper LS block. And I also know all my drives are NVMEs and also SROs for CDs. We're good. We're good. Okay, cool. I didn't put my password in. Oh, I did. We're all good. Okay. So what do we got? Synology sponsor. Oh wait, more than a network card and a cheap machine. Synology sponsors nobody, but they sue people sometimes. LTT has a history with them. Oh, okay. Well, then I will definitely not be working with Synology or go over any of their stuff. Good to know. Managed 5.2.5 gigabit Ethernet by Ubiquity is less than 50 euros. That's pretty solid. Silverback Scotty. Great name. The gold standard for any networking appliance stack is, does it support being configured with Ansible and Python? If yes, it's good. If no, you'll regret it when the vendor ends support. Interesting. I have not heard that as a stance. But that makes sense. I've also not heard about configuring network gear with Ansible, but that also sounds like a pretty reasonable thing to be doing. MikroTik is fantastic to this effect and cheap. MikroTik. You all are a wealth of knowledge. I learned so much while building things on stream with you all. It's so much fun. I've never seen this. Huh. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. 100 gig what? 100 gigabit? 100 gigabit? Ethernet routers. Cool. Huh. I will be taking a look at this. Okay, well, I mean, if Sarah's also big on MikroTik. That's a good sign for me. What don't you like about the website? I was kind of thinking to myself, it's pretty decent. Okay. Yeah. Um, Package managers and DD are one of the few reasons I am still using my Mac and haven't switched to Linux. Interesting. Well, what do you mean by that? I'm curious. I'm curious. What's like? What about that is kind of causing you pause? That's an interesting stance. I'm also I like I'm a I've got a Mac. I've been on a Mac for a long time. Um, so I I understand some of the creature comforts of the Apple ecosystem. I've got an iPhone as well, and an iPad and an Apple TV. I'm deep in the Apple ecosystem actually, and I am trying to escape. Slowly building my way out of that hole. But the really is okay. Just a quick talk about the Apple ecosystem. The thing that keeps me in the Apple ecosystem over like more than anything else is how good AirPods are and their ability to transfer between Apple devices. The fact that like I can just have my AirPods connect to I have two MacBooks, one for work. I didn't pay for that one, and one for personal use. So my AirPods seamlessly transition between my phone, between my two laptops, being able to like do the beam thing to the Apple Home stuff. The what do they call those? HomePods. All of that is like really good, and that is the biggest blocker because I'm like I don't want to have to deal with Bluetooth reconnection stuff ever again, and that's been blocking me. Otherwise, I don't really care. I'm not like huge on any other feature. AirPlay's nice to the Apple TV, but Cody does that, so I'm good. Um, yeah. Hmm. It's so hard to find what you want. Okay, fair enough. Streaming midday. Yeah, sorry, this is the regular time, Oliver's. I'm doing Mondays 4 to 6 my time. I've heard five options and I already feel option paralysis. Yes. So at some point you just have to pick stuff. I just want to click a button and install new software. It's just an abstraction that I love. Well, hopefully UmbrelOS will get you a fair amount of this. What is this? Our pro desktop app with endless configuration possibilities is available for all operating systems. What is Winbox? That sounds very you can run Windows. To manage router OS limitless configuration options with Winbox, you can set up any of Microtech products available for all desktop operating systems. Weird that they named it that. Um, oh, I just want to click a button and install new software. Yes, okay, understandable. A lot of desktop Linux will allow you to do that these days. Like, for example, and I've heard there have been problems with Belina Etcher, but Belina Etcher works on Linux, and it's a GUI that lets you flash USBs and things like that. Um, Package managers can be handled from GUI app stores. Like there's a the GUI abstractions are being well developed on desktop Linux these days. They're getting pretty good. I used to make fun of the Apple ecosystem until I realized that Samsung had me on the hook in a very similar way. Ah, I see. Yeah, I mean, I also was a huge. I used to make so much fun of Apple people, so much fun. And then I at some point, we're still waiting on the disk to flash, so we're just gonna chat. At some point, I made this decision because growing up I'd been very closed minded. I was like, why would you ever use anything Apple? Windows is the only operating system that matters. Right, right. um, and I was very closed off about a lot of opinions. Right, I was very hardline. And at some point, I went, "What if I'm wrong about everything? I should just explore." Right? I was like, "Rap music sucks, and it's completely pointless. It doesn't need to exist." Um, a lot of completely unbacked opinions. And I started engaging with these things that I had hated or written off, started trying to engage with with rap and hip hop and things like that. I'd mostly listened to like classic rock and like folk and some like some modern pop, mostly like very sad pop. Um, and then I did the same thing with the Apple ecosystem, and I was like, wow, this is pretty good. And I also explored Linux, and I started to allow myself to just try things in a way that I was trying my best to be unopinionated walking into it. Um, I noticed that I would have this feeling and this sense when trying, especially a new programming language. My first instinct would be this doesn't work the way that it does in C, which is what my first like major programming language was. And so I was like, this doesn't work the way it works in C, therefore it's terrible. This language sucks. But if you take the time to learn idiomatic programming language, whatever it is, often you find, oh, this language is actually not so bad. I can learn it. It's not bad just because it's not like the thing that I know. And I took that stance with me to a lot of places. I started to generalize that idea. Um, and that led me down the rabbit hole of the Apple ecosystem at some point. And now I'm like, that was fun. I learned a lot about Apple and design. And now I want to go down the self hosting rabbit hole and see what we can do with it. So, yeah. Okay, sorry, I ranted for a long time, so let's take a look. Winbox is an interface to their OS. It's partly with the web UI. I see. I think GNOME has a similar one too. Have you played with WinApps on Linux? Not too much. Maybe Lightroom Photoshop on Linux finally? Ooh, that's kind of fun. Okay. Linux has the classic problem of having 5 competing standards to install programs with one click. Yes, yes, it does. Um, Part of me is really interested in this sort of immutable operating systems with containerized applications, like the flat pack everything idea is really cool to me, but it's definitely like premature. It's not ready in from what I've seen, and I haven't really deep dived that yet. But it does seem really promising as an idea to me. I don't know. I really like Fedora Media Writer for making bootable media. Oh, yeah. There's a similar one that I was using. I forget what it was called. What the heck? Oh, oops. All right, hold on. There we go. We're good. Okay. Yeah. um, can't be the classic 80 columns by 24 lines terminal interface. Agreed. For a while, I kept all of my readmes to 80 columns, but I don't do that anymore. That's too much work. Put Ventoy once on a stick and never flash an image again. I have Ventoy on a stick over here. I don't know why I didn't use it. I think one time Ventoy didn't work for me, and then I had to flash for some reason, and then I guess I don't know. Weird. Weird that I didn't do that. I'm a huge advocate for Ventoy too. It shows up in my videos. Um, okay, what else? Hear bad things about the MikroTik OS. A b-boy. It's time you must keep exploring. You must become a b-boy. I'm currently doing exploring literature, one thing at a time. The fact that I read Hamlet is a miracle. Uh, so yeah, but maybe one day. Still with Apple BCS, I don't want to have the option to break it. C as a first language is actually wild. Yeah, it was mandatory at the university I went to. We did ANSI C was our first programming language, and it was our only programming language for 2 years. So that was fun. There's a free alternative to Lightroom Darktable. I haven't had to edit professionally using it, but it feels just as polished and looks like it has everything you need for photography. Interesting. I'm running Baza right now, and Flatpak everything is close, but def not 100% there. Yeah, I've heard good things about Bazite though, and like the promise of stability that comes from these immutable operating systems is really exciting for me. Yes, yes, of course it's Guelph. Average day in Ontario. Average day in Ontario. Programming in C. Yeah, I was really excited when they let us use C99 instead of ANSI C because I could define my iterator variable inside the syntax of the for loop. That was so succinct. Oh, maybe that was it. Plus, maybe it was installing Proxmox. Wow, we are still going on the DD. All right, well, we're still hanging out then. But yeah. So, I don't know. I'm what else is going on in my life? I don't know. I don't know. Slowly just working away on stuff. I'm really looking forward to a Christmas break. I celebrate Christmas. If you would like to call it a winter holiday or whatever, or you've got a different thing, that's awesome. You're more than welcome to share about that. But yeah, I was like, I'm so looking forward to it. Oh my God, I need a little bit of time. I need a little bit of time to just vibe. I want to build some cool things with my dad. I want to just read books, watch movie, not make anything for a bit. I still have my OpenSense router in a box, and my dad has his OpenSense router in a box, and we want to set those up, and I'm really looking forward to that. Should be fun. Still don't trust Ventoy. Really? I mean, you can get that immutable behavior with NixOS. Always peddling NixOS. I haven't played around with more Nix yet. One day. I think I want to get some more self-hosted applications up and running. I'm debating just ditching Kubernetes or something. I don't know what I want to do because Kubernetes has made self-hosting things a fairly large, like it introduces a fairly large barrier, which I think is a big reason why I haven't been trying out more self-hosted apps. Like if this was a Docker Compose and I had a make file to like Docker Compose up a bunch of stuff, I probably would have a bunch of services up and running and would have made videos on them. But instead, I have Kubernetes and Argo CD and AdGuard Home and Jellyfin in a container, right? Like not on Kubernetes. So I don't know. Um, See, this is why I'm applying to UBC. True, true. I can drive instead of living, but I've installed Linux 2 times in the past month. I've never heard of Ventoy. Goes to Google it. Ventoy is great. I need a karaoke night that I can actually attend. Ooh, yes, I need to run one. I'll do one over the winter holidays. Should be fun. Gonna find me in a dark alley in a trench coat with boot drives. What's y'all's opinions on audiobooks instead of physical books? I've had much more time just commuting in silence, but I'd love to keep reading if I can. I have nothing against audiobooks whatsoever. I think in general, podcasts and audiobooks can be really valuable. They can be a great way to learn new things during periods when you can't read. For example, I can't read on the subway because I get motion sickness. So I rely on podcasts. The only reason I don't do audiobooks instead of podcasts is I personally much prefer physical books. I've never been able to get into audiobooks, but that's a me thing. Like if you're vibing with audiobooks and you're learning things, have at it. Hmm. Engineering in storytelling is always good, but I think the active reading is really important for maintaining literacy. Engaging in story. Yes, I do think physical reading is like reading a physical book is good. It's something that one ought to do. Um, but if the option is don't engage with books at all or engage with audiobooks. If you can do both, that's the best. Kindle is such a lifesaver for me. Yeah, I feel that when I was doing when I first started like reading like consistently, my Kindle was not optional. I was married to that thing. Plain Ubuntu server plus Docker is what my home server runs, so definitely on the self-host side rather than the home lab. I don't know. If you're doing Ubuntu server plus Docker, you're not doing like a turnkey NAS OS, I'd say. I mean, depend. I guess it depends on the intention behind it. Like, do you run that because that's the most comfortable and easy stack for you to maintain and run? Then I would suppose that would be self-hosting less than home labbing. My Kubernetes nonsense is definitely home labbing, right? Because, well, I barely self-host. To self-host, the only actual thing that I use, Jellyfin, I had to circumvent Kubernetes. I went with an LXC. So I read on my phone on the subway, but that means it adds to my screen time. I mix reading and listening to narrative podcasts. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I don't count, like, if you're reading on your phone, that's not screen time. Like, that's not screen time in the way that I'm concerned about screen time. You know what I mean? But I hear you. It does inflate the numbers. Uh, One time I gave a hitchhiker a ride, but had the audiobook of American Psycho running. Got some strange looks. Yeah, that would be disconcerting, I'd say. Um, what do you think about Raspberry Pi for self-hosting or home labbing? That is a perfectly fine way to start. And often plenty for a lot of people. I'm a bigger fan of the little like Intel N100 boxes these days. I think they're a little bit more bang for your buck. They'll grow with you a little bit more. They're really good for jellyfin servers. Um, so and they tend to be like a Raspberry Pi 5 all kitted out is usually about the same price as a little N100 box. So it tends to be a better bang for your buck these days. But yeah, um, there is nothing wrong if you've got a Raspberry Pi, have at it. The Raspberry Pi community is also really good. And they're just like, at least from what I've heard, like there's just a lot of people who maybe aren't professional IT people who come together to build cool things and help each other hack on stuff, and I think that's really admirable. Um, Creates for a great environment for people who just want to build cool stuff but maybe don't have that IT background. Fair enough, Jake. Yeah, comfy for me. Oh, and no control center. That's fair. For nonfiction audiobooks, I have a notebook writing down important stuff while listening. That's cool. Also, just spending time listening to it by itself, doing nothing else. Very nice. My brain speed and reading speed are mismatched, so I have to reread the same sentence 3 times. That's fair. That happens to me. Manage everything through SSH. Okay, so let's get down to business and install Umbrel. I'm gonna switch us over to the test bench. Boom. Okay. So right now we still got Zima. Do I? What do I have to do to get? Whatever. Just I'm just gonna press the power button. You can get a Raspberry Pi with a student discount? That's awesome. I usually do the to defeat the Huns part when I say that. I just can't not. Um, that Mulan song is like a mainstay in my friend group's karaoke arsenal. There we go. UmbrelOS installer. Do, 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 do. Okay. Um, sorry, I've got a camera. I've got a second camera now, and that camera is in the way of my workbench, and it's become problematic. Okay, we're gonna do SDA. Installing Umbrel OS on SDA. Understandable. It's just such a banger, you know? How can you not do just a little Mulan? Are we actually doing work today? We are. I've had a little bit more energy lately. Um, and also it's really freaking easy to just install these operating systems and poke around them. It's not like trying to bring up self-hosted services through Kubernetes. Uh, so this is a much like lighter touch, easier way to do something somewhat productive, um, without having to, you know, draft whatchamacallits, manifests from scratch. I find it incredibly frustrating. Um, and like I just don't know enough about Kubernetes yet to really be able to draft um, a manifest totally from scratch, which means a lot of the time I'm Googling a lot and like chat GPTing. And I'll be totally honest, I feel shame when I chat GPT on stream. Kate's is too much for most places it's used. Yeah. I feel like a lot of places could get by with like K3S. But yeah. Honestly, maybe these days, because I do have a working AdGuard manifest. Um, So I do have a working AdGuard manifest, so I can probably figure out new new manifests pretty easily. We'll play with it. Oh, yeah, no. So I'm not doing Kubernetes because I think I need Kubernetes for my home lab, right? That's not it at all. I'm doing Kubernetes because I think it's cool and I want to see what it's all about, and I also think it would be beneficial for my career to have Kubernetes background, right? So it's a mix of I think this tech is cool, I want to see what it's like, I want to play with it, and it's probably good for my resume. You put those two things together, and I can do it on stream, and it's like, wait, so there's just too many birds fed with one sandwich. You know? It's like it's fun, it's cool to do on stream. It's kind of interesting and fun for me to learn about. It's good for my resume. Boom, Kubernetes. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, as long as you understand it, I don't think it's necessarily bad to ChatGPT things. I get you. Using ChatGPT is not a shame, but Grok would be. Yeah, yeah, true. Except for running things in terminal. If you're ChatGPTing, I refuse to believe you know how to use the tools. Yeah, that's fair. Except for running things in terminal, yeah. AIstudio.google.com. You can use Gemini 3 Pro for free here, and it's really good at technical things now. Interesting. Had a friend brick a PC that way. Yeah, do not copy paste what ChatGPT throws in your. Um, we're gonna make the vibes a little cozier. Dim the lights just a touch. How's that coming through? Is that? Oh, I see. Interesting. It's doing. Um, my camera is doing a little bit of management that I don't normally have it do. So I'm coming through washed out. Huh. You can't use ChatGPT on stream because then we won't know if chat means us or the machine. You know, it is helpful to know that I won't be like publicly shamed if I chat GPT something. I mean, you all are such nice people. I would be absolutely shocked if that happened. Um, and I probably would just be like, dude, I'm just doing a thing. But I don't know. I have this desire to do things slowly and really engage with them when I'm on stream. Anyways, UmbrelOS is installed, so we're gonna see what that's like. Generative AI will lie to you and or lead you down the wrong path sometimes. You have to always check it works. Yes. They're a great way to learn networking, actually. What camera are you using in any case? This is my Fujifilm X-T20. It's awesome. This is a great camera. I got it on Facebook Marketplace for like $400, which is an absolute steal from what I've seen. It is a beautiful camera. I've got a TT Artisan 35 millimeter lens thingy. I'm not a camera guy. Um, but yeah, it's it's beautiful, beautiful camera. But I have some aperture stuff happening here. We're gonna do. Is your background fake? No, that's my real background. Let's. I'm gonna do a quick fix here. There we go. I think that's usually what I want. Is that correct? Is that what I like? That looks too contrasty. I don't know. Now's not the time to be. Oh, yeah, that's not good. All right. This is what we're going with. I'm going to see if I can sort out whatever is happening with my. What is that? Because I'm washed out here. Okay, whatever. Okay, so that I should manually press the reset button of a device, and I knew what kind of device we were talking about. A satellite. The new Gemini 3 is really good at technical stuff. Oh, okay. Did you try turning the satellite off and back on again? You should probably do that. Okay. I'm very annoyed by my camera not looking the way that I want it to right now. And I'm trying really hard not to try to fix it right now. Huh. Okay. I can do this. I can put this away. Right, gang? I can put this away, right? I definitely can. I can. I can. Okay. So here we are. We have Umbrel login. It didn't give me a default user, which I find annoying right away. I assume it just wants me to do this. What's your lighting setup? I have a pretty large ring light. Oh, that's probably part of the problem. I have some just like pot lights up above me, and then I have two lights behind me that are just like lamps. How's this? I feel like this is gonna be. No, I'm still a little washed out. That's weird. Okay. Well, anyways, let's take a look at this. So, basically, what happens is we'll go back to test bench. So it tells us, hey, you can access the dashboard at umbrel.local, and also you can use this IP address, which is cool. I don't know what the default user is, though, which sucks. Why? What? It didn't ask me for a user or anything. Not my favorite idea. So let's see, UmbrelOS default user. Yeah, there it is. Umbrel. Okay. All right. There we go. Admin password. That would be nice. Terminal access is only enabled for debugging purposes. Any modifications made to UmbrelOS system will not be persisted between software updates. Oh, what is UmbrelOS built on? Huh. Admin. What is this built on? I mean, they got to be forking something. How might I find that out? What's the... There's a command for this. To just... Whatever. Okay. If somebody thinks of a way that I can find out what this is... Oh, it's Debian. Okay, cool. So it's a weird Debian that reverts any changes you make to the system. That's interesting. Immutable... Yeah, this seems like an immutable Debian. Well, I mean, at least I'm comfortable on Debian, so that makes me somewhat happy. The fact that it's immutable is weird, but maybe... But I mean, we just had a conversation about how I think immutable things are pretty good. Cat Etsy OS release. Nice. Good idea. Here you go. Yeah, it's Debian 13, but it's somehow it's made immutable. The kernel version gives it away, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, here we go. So here's UmbrelOS dashboard. We're just going to walk through. My name, Nathan. All right. Cool. Oh, I love that. I love that it starts with a bunch of recommended things. I could do without the crypto stuff, but I do respect that that is a fairly common aspect of the community. I would love to see Jellyfin at the top these days, but the fact that we're like, okay, let's start you with Image, Nextcloud, Pi-hole, Home Assistant, and Jellyfin right away. That's a great set of applications. I'll definitely be commenting on that in our video. So let's start with, what do we want to start with? I don't know. Image? I didn't like the way Image Lightning is super neato though. I've heard good things about Lightning as far as like moving Bitcoin around works. Um, let's try Image because I didn't like the way it installed on ZimaOS. Do you think Alberta is overstepping with the Alberta sovereignty within a United Canada Act? Whoa, I have no idea. For context, um, I I don't don't keep up with my politics very much. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on over in Alberta. In my head, Alberta is the Texas of Canada, and that's as far as my understanding of Canadian politics goes as a Canadian. One of the worst aspects of Torontonians is that many of us have no idea what happens in the rest of Canada. I think like yeah, like the lightning thing is like a oh, that full screened. Interesting. Okay. Let's do oops. Is jellyfin useful to a streamer? So they say stream. They use the term stream to mean streaming your media, not you are a streamer. Obviously, dark theme. No map. I would love. What is storage template engine? I would love to not get doxed right now. That would be fire. When enabled, this feature will auto-organize files based on your user-defined template. I don't need that for now. Mobile app? Nice. Well, okay. So here's photos. How do I leave image and go back to Umbrel? Oh. Oh, I love that. I love the only thing that would be needed is like an Umbrel logo up top. So Umbrel local it directs to well, I guess this is just the port. Never mind. That's less clever than I'd hoped for. Um all good though. So you do have to go back. Okay, cool. Like oh, it opens in another thing. Okay, cool. I'm liking the visuals so far. Um that's quite nice. Oh, it also shows you how much each application is using. That's nice. I don't like this visually, but that's a taste thing. Every country has its own Texas, like Bavaria for Germany or Carinthia for Austria. Can Umbrel do SSO, LDAP, radius type solutions? I don't know. What's Docker PS show on the machine? Let's see. Huh. Uh, Docker PS. Permission denied. Huh? Oh, interesting. It kind of locks me out. The sudo password is not the password to log in. Huh? What? Let's try this again. Sudo docker ps. Huh. I'm getting nope, wrong one. Nope. There we go. I'm getting this, which is interesting. So, I mean, I logged in, right? But my sudo is not working. I'm getting incorrect password. So if I exit Umbrel, did it change my password after I created this user? So is it now this? Okay, weird things are happening. Weird things are happening. Let's keep poking about and then we're going to look at let's try to look at it through the lens of you don't know what you're doing and you want to self-host. What's that experience like? And then let's take a look at you do know what you're doing, you installed UmbrelOS, and you want to be able to tinker under the hood. Can you? So widgets, what is this? Settings. Yeah, so like I don't like that you can't drop into a terminal and be a power user. That I find annoying. Maybe there's like a way I can turn that on or something. We'll see. So here's photos. So what I want to see is if I upload photos, right? Will they get reflected in image properly? Because that was one of the things that I really didn't like about Zima is the like the port or sorry, the host to container file mapping for photos didn't make sense to me. Like in my head, right? The correct user experience would be I upload photos to photos and then image still rebooting, I guess. And image picks them up because it is my photos app. You know what I mean? Whereas that doesn't seem to be happening. And so this level of integration doesn't doesn't seem to be there yet. Oh, my throat. And that's not optimal, you know? You know what I mean? Like those things should be integrated. Oh, 2FA. Wi-Fi. Okay. Interesting. What does this let me do? Oh, okay. So it lets me look into a specific container and what its logs are up to. Interesting. Device info, advanced settings. Okay. Cloudflare DNS offers better network reliability, remote Tor access, factory reset. Ah, terminal. Okay. Okay. It did reset my password. Interesting. So, yeah, we're just getting all of the normal image things. Cool. Okay, so that's not too bad. We can drop into a terminal. We can do all of that fun stuff. Where are my image files stored? So if I go here, apps, image. Okay, yeah. Hooks and then data, upload. Image, library. So I mean, that's obviously going to be these are database things. So it would be in upload, right? Upload, and then there's a number of different uploads. Okay. See, you see, but I'm not crazy, right? Like, the correct user experience would be I install a Photos app and it like uses the Photos location from my file explorer natively, right? That should be pre-configured. So there's a little bit of work there, and that's going to throw off a lot of users who don't have a conceptual map between container versus host and how those things align. You know what I mean? Paperless NGX. Okay, yeah, let's take a look. Um, okay, so that's our homepage. What is this? Okay, that app store does not look like an app store icon to me. I'm being very nitpicky about UI UX because I think that that's the selling point, right? You need a good UI UX. Um, yeah, image is developed with the idea that it is your portal to manage photos, and these GUI OSs don't seem to account for that. Yes, that is what I've been finding so far. What the hell is mempool? Oh, okay. Well, whatever. We were looking for paperless. Yeah, I bet Image has a way to do that. Like if I go, well, I suppose I could just go here, and then we go to apps, and we go to image, and then I go to data, and I go to upload, and I go to what, library, and then I could, what could I do? Can I I could drop into the terminal and make a sim link, but that's ugly. Image also assumes the main ingress is a phone, which it did tell you to get the app for. That's fair. That's fair. So I might be better served by what's that other one? Photo Prism. Maybe Photo Prism makes sense. Let's try all of them. Let's go Photo Prism, and let's also do Libra Photos. Why not? I might need to throw the break screen up in a second and go grab me some more water. My throat is upset with me. Okay, here's paperless. What a default password. Holy cannoli. Okay. Well, here's paperless. Image also assumes the main ingress. Oh, sorry. If you have pre-built installs, heck, it just throw things at it, right? Yeah, true. Well, here's paperless. I've never used it before. Mail. Ultimate security. Start the tour? Sure. Paperless is intended to store dangerous things. This makes sense. I see. Right. Yes, it's because it's for like, here are my tax documents that I printed and took a picture of and then put in here, or like that kind of thing. Um, oops. Well, okay. Settings. Open Django admin. Sarah, it's Python. It's Python for secure things. Um, okay. Among many others. Yes. I see. Right. Okay. Cool. Well, I mean, yeah, there it is, doing the thing. What else? Okay, I want to look at photos because I want to be able to recommend a photo app that seems to make the most sense. But I suppose the problem is going to be that the default process here for UmbrelOS is to create an apps folder for each things. Yeah, yeah, I know, right? I saw Python. I saw the Django admin thing and I was like, "Oh, that's Python." Sarah's not going to like that. But yes, the default process here, right, is to have storage this way. Oh God, yeah, and this is cumbersome. Like, where would you actually store it in backup? That can't be right. That can't be right. So it looks like none of them do what I would like them to do, right? Which is I don't know. I don't like map these in a way that makes sense to me. Oh, Libra Photos is actually kind of nice. I like that a lot more than Photo Prism. Photo Prism I find overwhelming and not very attractive. This I find a lot more attractive. But yeah, at the end of the day, we still have just like a problem of if you want to use the file server, it doesn't work with apps the way that you think. I think the file manager on the home page is a red herring. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's unfortunate. You're meant to use the app for the thing. Yeah. But I just you know what I mean, right? Like I think users are going to get tripped up by this and go like, "Hey, wait, but I uploaded photos. Where are my photos?" You know? Interesting. I can probably just take this. This is another thing that people are probably not going to do, or know what to do. Also, what's my password? Oh, interesting. So this time it gave me the startup guide. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, file manager for something like this seems much lower, like, don't know, documents are changing config, ionize or something. Right. The problem is the file manager comes with, oh, for crying out loud. Okay, so now I'm really quite upset, right? Because first problem, documents, downloads, photos, videos. Photos and videos kind of implies to me that Jellyfin should pick up on videos and photos should be picked up by Photos apps. Okay, great. Why is there a paperless, but that is broken. It actually goes through apps. Okay, so it goes through apps. Why then does paperless have something in my home directory? Why is that happening? That breaks, like, at least stick to the concept that home is for that crap and apps is for apps, you know? Yes, and yeah, Nextcloud is a whole other beast. Is it easy to convert from other home hosting solutions? I don't know. I mean, it depends on how you've managed your data in the past, right? Um, More or less, ingest folder, I guess. But that, I don't know. Like, we're having very inconsistent mental maps right now. I've been struggling with this with my first Docker home lab setup. I want control of my data and not hide it in an app. Image stores the files in library user, if I remember. Library user. That's annoying. So I go here, and then I have to go here, and I have to go here, and then I have to go here, and then I have to go here, and then I have to. Oh, no user. I think user might be for a different one. Upload. I think it's in here. So if I do this, right, then no, unless maybe I restart the container. Why not just install Docker on Debian so you have full control over the structure? Oh, that's how my setup is. We're exploring ways to make self-hosting easy for people who are not as familiar with Linux and home labbing. That's kind of been my interest lately. Because yeah, my setup is Debian, and there's like a Proxmox machine, and the NAS is just Debian with ZFS and NFS configured, all of that nonsense. I'm curious about, because there's a number of people in the community here who want to be able to self-host but are not ready to jump into all of that. Oh, no bad questions here. That's a perfectly reasonable question to ask. So yeah. Okay, well, how do I feel about this? I feel about this more or less the way I feel about ZimaOS, except this is open source. And so that makes that better. So we can do, what does two-factor? Okay, cool. And there's no built-in sort of authentication that's shared across applications. That would be phenomenal for something like this. Okay. What else could we do? Also, let's use a reasonable thing here. Fahrenheit is for suckers. This would be way better if it just opened the App Store page for Jellyfin when clicking on videos the first time. Ooh, that's an interesting little UI choice there. I do kind of like that. See, so at first glance, I just upload through the apps themselves. Yeah, hence why I asked about SSO LDAP. Yes, that's what I was trying to refer back to. I should have clarified. That's why I was mentioning that. So let's chat a little bit about this. This is close to a really, really good solution. I think the UI is slick. I think the App Store is quite good. Um, it needs some more storage management. So one of the problems, let's take a look here. One of the things that ZimaOS did really nicely was if you go to storage, it let you very easily manage your storage, right? So it assumed you were putting it on a NAS. Umbrel doesn't. Umbrel assumes you have other storage, right? So if we look at backups, add another Umbrel or NAS, we can add an external drive. We can add whatever the hell that is. Um, a NAS or a shared drive on your network, access them within files, right? So I could probably do this. What's my NAS IP again? Any knowers in the chat? um, what is it? What am I looking for? I'm looking for. Wow, I'm rusty. Where would this go? Not it would be in hosts. Okay. No, it's not in hosts. Okay, let's take a look at my notes. Debian NAS. FS tab. There we go. Okay, so I might just be able to do this. Probably not. This is probably going off of Samba. Did we look for central auth in the App Store at all? We didn't. We can take a look. First I want to go down this rabbit hole. Umbrel NFS or SMB? I've switched to Proxmox. Ha! Yeah, I'm gonna guess because of this auth stuff, it's a it's an SMB based thing. Forgetting FS tab. Yeah, sorry. Long day. Uh, hmm. Okay. Well, I haven't configured Samba yet. What are you gonna do? So we're looking for central auth. That's the next thing, right? Search. Um, BitTorrent. I'm seeing if it's like one of their things. Okay. Prowler. Back when I started learning, I used Docker on Windows, then Unraid, then TrueNAS, then Proxmox, and now a mix of Proxmox and Debian. Very nice. Yeah, I skipped past Unraid and TrueNAS and went straight to Proxmox and Debian. Mostly because as I mentioned earlier, I'm a masochist. Oh, I am kind of curious about this. Solid Time, a simple, secure, private time tracking, active pieces, open source AI automation tool, Mealy. Memos, Portainer, run custom Docker containers under Umbrel, Homebridge, HomeKit, yeah. All right, so let's search auth. Pinch flat. I do want to take a look at pinch flat today. We're just going to stop a bunch of these to save ourselves a little bit of space. Yeah. So what would I say about this? I would say that it's pretty good, but there needs to be more sane defaults. Basically, I would like this operating system to assume that you will be running Jellyfin and Image and a couple of others and integrate that central auth, the LLDAP or SSO type of thing, so that it comes out of the box, integrated with your file manager, with the applications that pretty much everybody will want. Right? Like if you're self-hosting, right? If you're self-hosting, a lot of what that has to do with is replacing cloud services. So you're going to want something like Nextcloud, even if Nextcloud isn't the solution. What you want is something to edit documents with in a shared fashion, somewhere to store those documents. Then you want probably something for media, like music, for video types of media, right? That's Jellyfin. For music, that there's any number of solutions there. You might want something for ebooks, right? So Cavita, Calibra, Booklore, I've heard of, right? Those kinds of solutions. And what else? I don't know. Probably covers you. AdGuard Home would be nice. Like there is a core package of things that I feel should just come pre-installed to get you your cloud replacements like that, right? And then what should be simple here should be you kind of go, you're here, and you should be able to go umbrel.local/docs, umbrel.local/video, umbrel.local/photos, like that, right? Or photos.umbrel.local, that kind of thing, right? They could just ask via a wizard at the start. Yeah, that could work. That could work. Something with this intended user audience should be more opinionated. Yes, and that is what I feel has been missing. That is what I feel has been missing. The ZimaOS and UmbrelOS are not opinionated enough. They need to just give you the solutions like that. Still under the hood, just like HexOS lets you drop into TrueNAS, and supposedly TrueNAS Scale lets you drop into Debian, though I've heard that TrueNAS Scale, if you drop into Debian from TrueNAS Scale, you'll probably break everything. Yeah. Calamari style installation. I'm not familiar with that. And yeah, Sarah, I'm really excited to see where that goes. I'm very like because yeah, we've sort of had discussions about that. Um, Calamaris. What is that? Is that It is developed on Codeberg, the Universal Installer Framework. Oh, okay. Tell me more about what Calamaris does. It's going faster now, thankfully. Nice. It's the installer for Linux Mint. Oh, I see. Okay. Calamaris is the default GUI installation program that most Linux distros use. Nice. Okay. Cool. Cool. So yeah, one of the nice things though is if you look at Umbrel, right? First off, also Train to Busan, that movie was super hyped up for me. Like a lot of people were telling me that it's a phenomenal movie, and I hated it. No hate if you liked it, but oh my god, I was so disappointed. Anyways, so yeah. Luckily, UmbrelOS is open source, right? You can fork it and start doing stuff to it. So that's pretty sweet. And you're free to use, fork, modify, and redistribute Umbrel for personal and nonprofit use under the same license. Nice. If you're interested in using UmbrelOS for commercial purposes, such as selling plug-and-play home servers, please reach out to us, which I think is perfectly reasonable. I would love, I could totally see if I were a smarter, okay, if I were a more established, more knowledgeable person, let's say like 10 years from now, I could totally see saying to my audience of YouTube folks, what if we what if we build if I built a NAS, forked Umbrel to get that turnkey, that like really nice opinionated solution, threw it on a NAS, sold the NAS box, that would be a really cool product to be able to share with people, right? I think it would be really good. It's Anaconda for Anaconda Web UI for installing. Oh, Fedora just dropped it. Interesting. But that would be really cool. And Umbrel, uh, it opens us up to that opportunity. Something that I think is a little closer but disappointing because we can't jump in is the Zima Cube. So the Zima Cube gives you the box, right? And comes with ZimaOS pre-installed. And again, one of the issues is going to be that, like, quote unquote normal people, people who aren't home labbers or sysadmins, are not going to install an operating system, right? That's already just a really big ask. And so it needs to come pre-installed on a box. And the Zima Cube gets you there, but ZimaOS, and ZimaOS is also a little bit more complete, right? ZimaOS comes with, you can import from cloud, which is tight. Their mobile app is pretty decent. I actually didn't install it, but I heard it's quite good. Their remote access client exists instead of using Tailscale, which the fact that remote access is one tick as opposed to you have to install Tailscale and configure Tailscale is good, right? Laundry, yes, exactly. Very nice. Right, like the fact that all of these things are baked, some of these things are more baked into Zima is good. Is good. But it's not open. It's not open. So there's nothing we can do to improve this, right? That's just not great. Huh. Very cool. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not finding it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't see a GitHub anywhere. Am I crazy? There's no GitHub, right? So it must, like, my assumption is just that it's been closed since Casa OS migrated to Zima, right? And that's, what are you going to do? So, I don't know. Obviously, I don't have the time to step in and like build an operating system from scratch right now. And I don't even have the time to fork this fella. What is it? Sorry, guys. I've had like no sleep today. I'm going to get there. 100% closed source. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Not chill. That's not chill. Closed source, not chill, man. Like if your goal is to escape cloud BS and like all of that, do you really want to jump from cloud BS to vendor lock-in and closed source app? It's like slightly better because your data is local, but it doesn't mean that it's private. You can't know, and like Plus earlier was talking about um what was it? What did he call Ugreen's operating system? Phone Home OS? Like that's not viable. Okay, hold on. There we go. Yes. So I looked through ZimaOS's GitHub, right? But let's do this. Right. We're here, but there's no code here, right? Am I crazy? Like it's 100% shell. If we look through, the only actual code is this shell script. Everything else is other stuff, right? Like text files. It's not the actual development. So that's kind of disappointing. Casa OS used to be open. Now it is ZimaOS, and it's not open. And that's not what you want. So, anyways, that's basically what the video is going to be about. I'm basically going to rant about this and be like, gang, why is it the way that it is? Why not opinionated? And that's the situation. Anyways, one sec. I'm going to grab some water. I think I may call this stream just a touch early because I am very tired today. Uh, I woke up at like 3 a.m. and it's just been ugh. But yes, where is no? That's the wrong break. Oh no, that's I want this break. I want this. Hello, yeah, there, and then this, and we want to go. Ready for this? Ready for this? BRB. Why capitalism? I guess. Yeah, more or less. Okay. Oh no, I am coming back. We're gonna chat a little bit longer, and then I will end stream. But not having a pearl diver in there is a missed opportunity. That's okay. Yeah, no, that's we'll definitely write that one in later. Um, okay, so yeah, on the topic of like people who value freedom so highly they don't want to force their opinions. As we mentioned earlier, like just a little installer that's like, would you like the default pack of cloud replacement apps? Uh would you like to be able to access these files remotely securely? Okay, great. So we're gonna install these. We're gonna install this basic set of applications. We're gonna install Tailscale for you, and also Zima's like using ZimaOS as a something Umbrel should largely aspire to in terms of like feature parity. I think a mobile application that lets you very quickly and easily back up your files from your phone is just chef's kiss. That was a beautiful, beautiful option from Zima. So Zima's got a lot of really good features that I think Umbrel needs to work towards. But the fact that Umbrel is open just makes it viable at all. You know? So anyways, I know I've taken a very negative opinion today. I think what the UmbrelOS team is doing is phenomenal, right? I think the UI is slick. There's the concept is great. I love that they have an Umbrel box that can be sold. Comes with the Umbrel operating system pre-installed. That's going to help a lot of people. I think they need to take the leap into selling a NAS, selling the Umbrel box on a little N150 machine for 450 Canadian is exorbitant pricing when compared to I can get an N150 machine for 200 with the same specs, less storage, admittedly, but and then install it myself. That's a huge margin for it comes pre-installed. Maybe there are other niceties that I'm not seeing, but at the same time, I think it's perfectly reasonable for a company that's putting in a lot of work developing some software to charge for some hardware. That's okay, right? Like people deserve to get paid for shit. So I'm chill with that, more or less. I think they need to build a NAS. I think they need to build in some stuff to actually manage your storage a little bit better instead of being like, mount a NAS. It's like, no, this should be my NAS. And if you're a home labber or an IT person and you're like, my NAS should be separate from my compute, that's very reasonable. But I'm talking about a very different group of people here, right? Um, so yeah, big fan. I think I'm a big fan. I will be keeping tabs on Umbrel. I really hope it gets good. I think I will be. I think I will be directing people over to Umbrel fairly regularly. I think I wouldn't mind putting that in the wiki as like a quick and easy way to get up and running self-hosting stuff. I think yeah, there's a lot of good here. A lot of good stuff. Nathan, the bot's API for YouTube Notif was the corporate for the issue. It wasn't the bot itself. Interesting. Chloe says, giving people as much info and many options as possible is way better for freedom of speech than not being upfront or omitting info. Agreed. Choice paralysis is very real. Yes. So yeah, the way I like this, the way I like to think about this is like, if you give somebody the option to choose an opinionated setup, right? You basically go, do you want a pre-configured working thing? And they can go, yes. And then it launches. That's fantastic because they can also go no and go the manual route. If you give them that binary choice, I think that's perfectly reasonable. I think you're helping more people that way, and you're not robbing anybody of their agency. True, but the options given should be relevant and appropriate for the context, which helps to reduce the amount of options. Yeah. So like, yeah, and this is why I like the replace the cloud starter pack. Fucking awesome, right? Just boom, Jellyfin image, Jellyfin image, Calibra something or other, Nextcloud Home Assistant. Boom, done, right? You install those, and it obviously you have a file manager. How is that not what like 90% of self-hosters who aren't home labbers gonna want? Like that's the thing. Anyways, that's my thought. What do you all think? I've been ranting. What do you guys think? Am I on to something? Does this sound correct? I know Sarah, you and I agree about this. That sounds like a good list of software people would want. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, you know what I could do? I imagine a workflow that asks default setup, yes, no, customize. Yes, 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 exactly. That is the correct user experience right there, right? Um, what you could do, no, that's ugly. I was like, what if we just create like a quick install script, assuming you're on UmbrelOS, very quickly does a bunch of this stuff, like gets them set up with a bunch of the apps, and then just gets out of there. And how hard would that be? How hard would that be, right? Obviously, I can't I can't do it from within a Docker image because I want to have photos, movies, music is like 80% of it. Yeah, exactly. Right. We're all on the same page then. Awesome. So, I mean, I'm obviously not going to glean much from their repo today. Packages? OS? Scripts. Install Umbrel Dev update. This is cute. I'd love one of the more UI talents people to knock together a UI for such a thing. It'd save me save me from stuff I'm awful at. I feel that I'm terrible with user interfaces. Um, I had to step away for a bit. Did we decide? I think Umbrel has a brighter future because it's open source. ZimaOS is closed, and even though it has more features right now, and I think better features, like necessary features, the fact that it comes with a NAS like as a product, the fact that it deals with storage, the fact that it comes with a pre-built in connect anywhere securely like VPN solution, all of those things, and an app to do backing up your photos and stuff. All of that is necessary for this kind of thing to work, to be really good. But Umbrel's open source, and so it just wins. It just wins, you know? Um so yeah. Okay, how hard could it be? I know I don't have the time right now. But at the same time, open source does generally just win, right? There's just more potential. And also, we can trust this, right? I don't know how much I trust Zima. Oh, it's so unfortunate that this is TypeScript stuff. Okay, I mean, I know a lot of people like TypeScript. It's unfortunate for me because I'm not a fan of working with that kind of thing. Opinionated setups are okay as long as they're truly mine. I think I'm okay with Umbrel's approach where the apps are still there, their own separate things, since Image has cool Google-like photo search. Interesting. Hmm. Fair enough. Well, stories. I might poke around this and see if there's anything, if there's a quick and easy solution for some of the things I'm interested in. Might even just see if that's vibe codable. Just as a proof of concept. Containers. App auth. Oh. Huh, interesting. Oh, congrats. Learning TypeScript or learning some JavaScript and some TypeScript is a good way to go. I'm a web developer, so I'm gonna have to learn it at some point, and I'm starting to use more TypeScript apps. Cool. Stairs in Dino user. Yeah. Anyways, those are my thoughts. I will be making a video on this, and I'm gonna basically talk about I'm gonna talk about all of that in that video. Because I kind of like what I want to do is kind of inspire people to work toward that opinionated solution, right? And even if the UmbrelOS gang doesn't want to do that, like an opinionated fork of Umbrel would be pretty valuable. I respect if they don't want that kind of thing. If they want to make sure that people walking in have as free and unpolluted with other opinions and experience as possible. That's a noble goal. I just think this other thing would also be valuable, and Umbrel gives you a pretty good starting point to build that. So yeah. Hey, Sumitra, how's it going? Image's thing was a self-hosted image recognition AI for searching for things like Google Photos, but all still offline. That's great. Um, a hot take: just because something is open source doesn't mean we should inherently trust it. People should actually check the files. Yeah, of course. But if it's open source, then people can check the files. But also don't trust closed source code just because you can't see its code. Yeah. All right, gang. Those are my thoughts. That's what I've been up to. I will I don't know, make a video and work on the cohorts and see where things go. Yeah, that's basically it. Thank you all so much for your time and attention. Thank you for hanging out. Sarah, I'm really glad that you were here on stream. Totally understand if you don't want to be on the Discord, and you know, I'm not going to get into all of that, but I'm glad that we got to hang out and chat. So thanks for dropping by. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I'll catch you next time.